Hello, scholars. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, and we're going to be talking today about 4.9a. It says, I will be able to represent data on a frequency table and dot plot marked with whole numbers or fractions. So given for frequency tables and dot plots, I will represent data with 100% accuracy. Okay, so my question for today is, how can I best display, analyze, and summarize data? Okay, so today we will be looking at data on frequency tables and on dot plots, okay, and to see how we can best represent this data. So let's go ahead and move on to the I do. Okay, starting off with the I do. Let's go ahead and read and annotate the problem. Write the frequency in standard form if it is not given. Remember, standard form is your number. After we do that, we're going to annotate all data displays. We're going to write the frequency in standard form if it's not given. So after I annotate this table, I'm going to annotate this dot plot. Then I'm going to find the answer that matches the annotation. Okay, so make sure you are reading carefully to see what exactly are they asking us for. So let's go ahead and begin. It says, the table shows the number of times a six-sided cube landed on a given number. All right, so we're talking about a cube, a dice. And they rolled that dice, and this is how many times it landed on the number one. Frequency, that's one of our vocabulary words, means how often it happens, right? So they rolled a 1 and it happened how many times? 3 times. They rolled a 2 and it happened, and the 2 popped up 2 times. They rolled a 3 and the 3 rolled 4 times. They rolled a 4 and that showed up 5 times. They rolled a 5 and it showed up 2 times. I'm sorry, that's how many times the 5 showed up. The 6 showed up 4 times. So this is the number that was rolled, and that's how often that number appeared. Okay? So again, this is a number that was rolled, and that's how often this number appeared. Now it says, Miss Dottie made this dot plot to show the frequency of each number rolled. So the number rolled, this represents my numbers rolled, and the dots represent the frequency, or how many times they appeared. Remember, our frequency shows how many times they appeared. It says each dot represents one time the number is rolled. That's very important. This key here is going to be very, very important because that's going to tell us what that dot represents. Sometimes they'll say the dot represents 2 or half or 1. Okay, so you have to be very careful with that information. So it says, what number rolled is missing a data point on the dot plot? Oh, okay, let me read that again. What number rolled is missing a data point on the dot plot? So I need to go back to this dot plot and see something here is not matching, but I need to find out what. So I'm going to start off with, I have read my question, right? I'm going to go back and I'm going to make notes. I'm going to mark my table with the numbers. So let me go ahead and get started with the number 1 was rolled 3 times. Let's choose another crayon. Okay, the number 1 was rolled 1, 2, 3 times. So whenever they rolled that dice, the number 1 appeared 3 times. The number 2 appeared 2 times. The number 3 appeared 4 times. The number 4 appeared 5 times. The number 5 appeared 2 times. And the number 6 appeared 4 times. So what does that mean? That means I rolled the dice, and whenever I roll the dice, the number 6 popped up 4 times. The number 5, I rolled that twice. The number 4, I rolled it 5 times. The number 3 appeared 4 times. The number 2 appeared 2 times. And the number 1 appeared 3 times, right? So now I'm going to go here and I'm going to just label this. I'm just going to go label this before I even start comparing, right? So I labeled my table, and now I'm going to label my chart, my dot plot. So the number 1 was rolled 3 times. The number 2 was rolled 2 times. That's my frequency. My number 3 was rolled 3 times. The number 4 was rolled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Right? The number 5 was rolled 2 times. And my number 6 was rolled 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So now, scholars, I am comparing my dot plot. This is my dot plot, right? To my table. This is my table. This is my frequency table. This is to display my information. They both display my information just in a different way. But now it's asking me which number rolled is missing a data point on the dot plot. So something on this dot plot is not matching what we rolled over here. So I'm going to go now and I'm going to compare, right? I'm going to look at my number 1. My number 1 was rolled 3 times. My number 1 was rolled three times. So these two are correct. My number 2 was rolled 2 times. My number 2 here was rolled 2 times. So this information is correct. My number 3 was rolled 4 times. Sorry, let's check that one correct. My number 3 was rolled 4 times. My number 3 here, ooh, it shows that it was rolled 3 times. Now, is that consistent with what shows on the table? No, right? Because we know that this dice was rolled 4 times, not 3. So I know that this number is missing, my number 3 is missing 1 frequency dot. So that's why I circled it, and I'm gonna put a little question mark. My number 4 was rolled 5 times, that's correct. Put a little check mark, that's correct. Number 4 was rolled 5 times. My number 5 was rolled 2 times, that is correct, because that information shows to be consistent on both tables. And my number 6 was rolled how many times? 4 times. So now let's make sure over here, my number 6 was rolled 4 times. That is also correct. So now that I have compared my tables, I'm going to see which dot plot or which data point on the dot plot what is missing. So I know my number 3 here, that is not the same as my frequency table, right? So I know that the number 3 is the one that's missing a data point. So now I'm going to go over here. My number 2 was correct. My number 3, right? We said that it should have 4 dot plots, but it only has 3. So we know that that's not consistent. That can't be correct. 4, number 4, that has 5, and number 4 here has 5. So we know that that one's correct. That one can be my answer. And 5, we know that 5 had 2 rows here. Well, 5 had 2 rows here and 5 had 2. So that's consistent. So we know that can be my answer. So the only one that is missing a data point is 3, because it should be 4 data points instead of 3. Any questions? Please send me a message if you did not understand how I got from here to here. Make sure you label your tables first with your numbers, your standard form. What is the standard form? Write the standard form for your table and write the standard form for your dot plots. Pay attention to the question. What is it asking you? Right? This is what I'm looking for. This is the important information that I'm looking for. So make sure that whenever you're going back to your question, you know exactly what you're looking for. All right? So now it's your turn. You're going to go to the We Do and do your We Do assignments and your independent practice and DOL and submit for a grade. Right? Thank you, guys.